Hi, Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast. And in this one, I'm going to look at teams that I think might do particularly well this off-season and going into next season. So ahead of the free agency window opening, and as the draft looms closer and closer, combine's now happened. I have previously given state of the franchise addresses for all 32 NFL teams. Based on the research I did for those pieces, I picked out 5 teams who I think go into this off season best placed to mount challenges to be the Lombardi Trophy winners in Super Bowl 61. These thoughts are largely based on the state of their current roster, what cap space they have available to them, and what draft picks they have at their disposal too, and also some situational factors. Cap space numbers are taken from overthecap.com, rosters and contract info from Our Lads and Spotrac.com, respectively, and with draft picks info taken from Tankathon.com. So here in alphabetical order are my 5 teams that could be set for strong campaigns in 2026. And the first of them is one of 2 longer shots in this piece, but I still think they could be a team that comes back to do well next season, and it's the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, to start with, they have cap space of 50.4 million. They have the 10th, 41st, 72nd, and 110th draft pick, so they've got a standard set of draft picks really in the first 4 rounds, pretty standard anyway. A nice amount of cap space to work with. Now, the Bengals are well set at quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, cornerback, and on special teams. But those 4 draft picks and the 50 million will need to be used to fill needs in certain areas. Now, it won't come as any surprise that the defense has been the Bengals' Achilles heel for years now, and I think they can add a run stuffing defensive tackle, a top end edge rusher, and they'll need to now that they haven't. They appear to have called time on Trey Hendrickson, so they may even need 2. They need an experienced leader at inside linebacker and at least one safety on that side of the ball that may well make that weakness a strength for them next season. But accepted, there's plenty of work for them to do there. That means 4 or 5 additions. Now it's possibly 5 or 6. Um, so they had Trey Hendrickson, who they now appear to have called time on by not franchise tagging him. They've also got Joseph Adai as another free agent. That the urgency to bring him back, and possibly they might still try and see what if Hendrickson doesn't do well on the free agency market, they might still make a play for him. But they need to get at least one of them back and add one to get their pass rushing unit somewhere near the 40 sack and 100 quarterback hit numbers that the best defenses achieve. Re-signing one of those edge rushers and signing the likes of maybe a Devin Bush or a Quincy Williams at inside linebacker is likely to take 20 to 30 million out of their available cap space. The likes of Tony Adams or Xavier Woods would cost them another 5 to 7 million in that range to fill one of the needs at safety too. That would lead them needing to draft that run stuff in defensive tackle and another safety, which might be the route to look for a power back to partner Chase Brown and either some O line help or a tight end to replace Noah Fant if he's not re-signed. That would potentially still leave them 10 million to play with cap wise. So it's clearly possible for the Bengals to address all of their urgent needs this off season and be a much better and far more rounded team in all departments. Now, situationally, if you add to that they are in the AFC North that was won with 10 wins last season, and the divisional title holding Steelers will be under a new head coach, and right now have no starting quarterback. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, the conversation rumbles on, but right now, if he doesn't come back, what are they going to do? And they also look the Steelers also look substandard at running back and wide receiver right now. Whilst the acceptance that the Ravens will be back to their previous selves next season may be based on weak foundations, they too will be under a new head coach, be expecting Lamar Jackson to return to the levels prior to last season's injury, and 32-year-old Derek Henry to keep producing at the highest levels in his 11th season in the NFL. Neither of those can be taken as a given. Jackson's rushing yardage is not likely to be as it was earlier in his career as he approaches 30 years of age, and even the high-powered Derek Henry Express has to slow down at some point. With limited options at wide receiver apart from Zay Flowers, the Ravens will need their defense to be elite again next season rather than the mid-ranked unit it was. Even if the Steelers and Ravens do play well, the Bengals will still have the better all-round roster if they make the moves I've talked about here, and for me would be favourites to win the division if they did. And another thing in their favour is an easier schedule than the Steelers and Ravens, courtesy of finishing third in the division last season. The Bengals will not have to play any of the Patriots, Bills, Broncos, or Chargers as a result, where the Steelers and Ravens will have to face two of those four teams each. And once they get to the postseason, the Bengals would certainly be a danger to all in the AFC at the very least. So for me, watch the Bengals. Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers. Cap space of 85 million, draft picks 22, 55, 86, and 123. The Chargers were not far from the ultimate goal last season, despite losing their two-star offensive tackles before the season even got going in Joe Alton, Rashawn Slater. With those two back and healthy next season, the Chargers O-line will be much better without the need for any work. But they need a new centre to replace the now retired Bradley Bozeman and to upgrade at least one of the guard positions too. Improving this O-line is going to be the key to everything on offense for the Chargers next season. Firstly, in protecting Justin Herbert, who took a battering last season, but with Alton Walker back, that he should have much more time to locate his receivers. And then if they get improvement on the interior of that unit, that will help their running game become the force that was clearly plan A before the start of last season. That plan A of combining veteran Najee Harris and rookie Amarian Hampton was also foiled early by Harris missing in effect the entire season injured. Hampton also missed time later in the season. Harris was on a one-year deal, so the Chargers now have to decide whether to bring him back, replace him, or go with Hampton, who had a very strong rookie year, and Kimani Vidal, who also did well when called upon to fill in for Harris and Hampton when they were hurt. Finally, on offense, Ladd McConkey, Quinton Johnston, and Keenan Allen all had decent but not great seasons at wide receiver, and rookie Trey Harris showed some promise too. Allen will need re-signing or replacing, but all of these should do better with Herbert getting better protection and having more time to find them behind a healthier and stronger O-line. And at tight end, the emergence of rookie Rondo Gadsden gave them another more than useful weapon there. On defense, they could look to improve at defensive tackle and edge, and that may be where they look to make a free agent splash or two, and also have to decide whether to re-sign Khalil Mack in particular. Inside linebacker, they have a free agent retention question to answer around Denzel Perryman, and have the same sort of question at safety regarding Tony Jefferson. That 85 million in cap space should allow them to bring both of those guys back, and then they can look at adding a free agent center and big name on the edge, and still have plenty of cap space left over if they want to make any other moves, maybe a running back, for instance, leaving them being able to draft the best player available possibly, rather than targeting specific positions. Although I would say defensive tackle, guard, and succession planning at inside linebacker and safety could well be on the agenda. Overall, though, it's easy to see a way the Chargers can go from being a very good team to a really great team next season. And I think they're Super Bowl contenders for sure next season, possibly win it all. And now next, with that allows me to move on to the Los Angeles Rams, and I think we could be in for an all LA Super Bowl in LA next year. So as the Rams have 41.6 million in cap space and two first round picks at 13 and 29, then further picks at 61 and 73. The Rams were the team that came closest to taking down the Seahawks last season, and like I say, have a reasonable amount of cap space, plus those two first-round picks and four in the first 100 of the 2026 draft to help them improve their roster next season. They have a number of players entering a contract year in 2026, though, so it may be next season or not this decade for the Rams to win another Super Bowl. One of these players is Matt Stafford, who is currently in contract talks with the Rams, and there's even talk of him getting a multi-year deal, even though he's 38 now. So the Rams will surely need to plan to move on from him in the next year or two. But depending on how those contract negotiations go and how Stafford sees his longevity in the NFL, that may come sooner rather than later. Apart from that bit of succession planning, the needs list for the Rams this off-season is a pretty short one, and they should be able to cover off those needs with their other early draft picks and that 41 million of cap space they have at their disposal. On offense, they could do with a wide receiver as another piece of succession planning, with both Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams entering contract years, especially given Adams' age. You know, he's getting up there now, so at some point they're going to need younger blood in that wide receiver room. Then they really need to make their secondary better, as it struggled, particularly against wide receivers last season. Outside cornerback upgrades, with three of the incumbents being free agents, have to be very near at the top of the to-do list. And with safety Cam Curl hitting free agency too, re-signing or replacing him and adding depth there would seem to be their other needs. Using that cap space to re-sign players they want to bring back, plus add one or two free agent additions, then use those two first-round picks on their secondary before finding the wide receiver and quarterback in rounds 2 and 3 could work superbly for the Rams as they seek to make it a home Super Bowl next season. You'd have to ask, is it written in the stars for Stafford to go out with a home Super Bowl winning performance? Well, like I said, I'm going to go bold already, and I'm going to tip an LA Rams, LA Chargers Super Bowl next year. I really think both of those teams have got a great chance. But that brings me on to the next team, the defending champion Seattle Seahawks. Cap space of $59.5 million, a pick at the end of each of the first 3 rounds. Winning back-to-back Super Bowls, though, is a tough assignment indeed. It has only been done twice this century by the Chiefs and Patriots, with the Broncos, Cowboys and 49ers also achieving this feat since 1989. 5 times in 37 years then, that's roughly 1 in 7. And the Seahawks do have some cap space that could enable them to strengthen their roster even further. But now they are the hunted rather than the hunter. Life will be tougher week on week in the NFL. In my State of the Franchise addresses, I identified 6 or 7 things the Seahawks needs to do in order to improve their chances of going back to back. The first of those was that Sam Darnold is going to get paid bigger bucks in the second and third year of his deal. So now he needs to improve his levels on last season to make that investment and to justify that investment. To make that investment pay off and to justify it, I should say. He will also need help in the form of an improved receiver core that was way over dependent on the superb Jackson Smith and Jigba last season. And therein lies a similar issue they have with Darnold regarding Rashid Shaheed, who is now a free agent. To pay him what he will likely demand, which is in the same area that the like as the guy from Tampa, Mike Evans, is talking about. Although I know there's an age difference. Is he as good as Mike Evans as a receiver? Clearly he's not. But to pay him that amount, he needs to be a wide receiver rather than just the devastating kick returning threat he was last season. So they need to fully incorporate him into their passing game as their wide receiver too. If they do not do so, they will need to go find a wide receiver too. And even if they do, they could still do with more help at wide receiver for me. Far too reliant on Smith and Jigba. Then we get to the next player they need to retain, and that is Kenneth Walker, and they've not franchise tagged him. So is he now going to walk, or is he going to take another chunk of their cap space? This is a deal they should really get done, but they've balked on it by not giving him the franchise tag. So you have to wonder now whether the baton gets handed to Zach Charbonnet and somebody else they're going to bring in. So there's a question mark there, but assuming they get a decent running back in, whether it be Walker or somebody like him, they'll be well placed at running back. Which brings us to the O-line, which was very good last season, but there is still room for improvement on the left side of that line, something the Seahawks should look to do with any remaining cap space and via the draft. Similar comments apply in the secondary, where Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen and Josh Jobe are free agents. They need to make decisions on those two, and this could be the other area they seek to use those day one and two draft picks at. Even if the Seahawks make all the right calls on the above, which would make them better than last season on paper, they then need to retain the same levels of hunger and desire as they showed in winning it last season, which is always a challenge for teams that put so much into winning it the first time, and also to stand up to teams that want nothing more than to beat the champions every week. Sam Darnold playing to the levels of one of the best quarterbacks in the league may be the most doubtful part of all the requirements specified. But if he can, then don't rule the Seahawks out of doing it again next season. And also, being a really tough division and a highly competitive conference in general, it would be a tough task indeed. But the Seahawks are definitely capable of another strong campaign next season and could go close to winning it all again, which would definitely give them an opportunity to be the next NFL dynasty. Finally, the fifth team, the Washington Commanders, $71.2 million in cap space, less good use of draft picks. They've got number 7, which could be really useful to them, but then they've got no second round as we go to pick 71 and 145 for their other picks. No second or fourth round pick at their disposal. The Commanders will need to hit on their first and third round picks and use that cap space to good effect in order to address a reasonably long list of needs. So they're another long shot here. I'm not taking that away because they've got plenty to do, but they have got the cap space to do it in particular. But it cannot be underestimated how much of a difference getting Jaden Daniels back at quarterback will make to this team for starters. Let us not forget that Commanders went 12-5 the previous season in Daniels' rookie year, and whilst they need to address pretty much every area of their roster apart from quarterback this offseason, if they even get 3/4 of those needs ticked off, they can get back to at least 10 wins for sure, and quite possibly more. Behind a fairly settled O-line, the Commanders had the sixth-ranked run offense last season, despite relying on previously unheralded backs Chris Rodriguez and seventh-round draft pick, inverted commas, Bill Krosky Merritt. Once Austin Ekeler went down hurt. Will Ekeler be back? Doubtful. Will they bring in another running back? Possible with that cap space room. That could really bolster them. With Daniels adding to their ground attack and maybe an addition to replace Ekeler, the Commanders should have a strong run offense again next season, maybe one of the best. That O-line may need to see improved play from Josh Connolly in his second season, though, and needs a new centre following the release of Tyler Biodash, and may also need to find an upgrade at right guard too. So there's definitely work on the O-line. Leading wide receiver Terry McLaurin missed 7 games last season, so getting him back for Daniels to target would also help their pass offense move up from the 25th ranking of last season and back towards the 13th ranking they achieved the previous season. It may be time, though, to move on from veteran free agent Deebo Samuel. So using a first or third round pick on a wide receiver to play opposite McLaurin could be a good move. A similar issue arises at tight end with Zach Ertz. Maybe a free agent replacement like Chigga Okonkwo or Cade Otton for around $9 million could work for them there if they don't bring Ertz back. With Daron Payne back at defensive tackle next season, they could look to upgrade alongside him. That would cost them around $7 million in free agency to do so. I'm just quoting numbers here. They're just rough numbers. You get what I'm saying. Edge rushing is an area they need to look at to free agency and the draft to improve on what was a weakness last season. A splash free agent move could cost at least 15 million, maybe north of even 20, and then they could go edge with their first or third round pick, as well as using the other one on a wide receiver. One person they really need to bring back is veteran inside linebacker Bobby Wagner. That may cost them around 8 to 10 million, and then they could add another younger free agent to partner him and be the successor beyond next season. That could cost anything between 8 and 20 million to do so, though. They also need to invest at safety, and that could require a further 15 to 20 million of free agent expenditure unless they use an early draft pick here rather than on a wide receiver or an edge. And finally, they could do with 2 new cornerbacks too, which would incur a similar free agent cost to that required at safety. All that potential free agent expenditure is, don't forget, this is similar to what the Patriots did last season, would total between 70 and 100 million. The bottom end of that is within the Commanders' reach to get it all done this off season. All those changes might take time to bed in, but like the Pats last season, could make them a team for all to fear as the season progresses. With the 7th overall pick, they could certainly get one of the leading wide receivers or edge guys in this draft, and with both of those classes having some depth to them, could come back for the other position in round 3. Now, as I've said, plenty of work is required here, but this amount of cap space that the Commanders have is a chance to significantly improve their roster from last season. In their division, the Eagles have doubts over A.J. Brown's future and little cap space to work with. They are certainly catchable as defending divisional champions. The Cowboys should be better than last season, but another team struggling for cap space to retain even their current roster. So we'll rely on their 2 round 1 picks to make upgrades, as they do not have either of their day 2 picks in this draft. The Giants are a young team that should improve next season, but next year may may well be a season or two early for them to win divisional titles. If the Commanders can get a lot of pieces in place this off-season, then they look like a team who could get better and better as the season progresses. So they have to be seen as a good long shot to win the NFC Championship next season. Now, looking at the betting market for this, they have the Commanders and the Giants together. I can't have that. The Giants are just too young to succeed now. The Commanders have got a lot of work to do, but they've got the ammo to do it with. And if they get the right people in, they could be a serious danger next season. So they're my 5 to 5, as I've called them. Now, my next piece will be the 5 to dive, and they're the teams that, including some big names, who I think might not make the postseason even next time. So that's going to be my next piece. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you soon.